Bitcoin is making history. It crashed 10 grand in a day, and then it also bounced 10 grand in a day. Also, for the first time in its history, the price dropped below the price of the previous halving. Now that has never happened before. And in a Bitcoin, it always surprises us every single cycle. So in this video, I'm going to share my screen, go over the charts and show you exactly what I'm talking about. And before I get into the charts, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Harvinder. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015, and I've been making these video updates since 2022. So if you're new here, subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, smash that like button on the way in, and let's get into it. Crazy times with Bitcoin. And so if you look over here, we opened at 73k that day, and then we closed at 62k. So that was just over a 10 grand drop. And then the next day, we opened at 62, and then we closed at just over 70. But it did spike up to just nearly 72. So that Bitcoin has never done that before. And it reminds me of when we were in the 2017 bull run. I remember this because Bitcoin was climbing at a rate of sometimes $1,000 a day. And that was crazy at the time because, Bitcoin was only a few $100s back then. And so for it to crash 10k in a day, it sounds kind of crazy, but this is going to be normal because, mark my words, Bitcoin will be worth millions. It's a supply and demand thing. It's basic maths and economics. And so, we were expecting a bounce, but we just didn't know where it's going to bounce from. That was the truth. Because when we were tracking this the other day, I don't know if I kept all my trend lines, if I deleted them, but I had a whole bunch of trend lines drawn here. 69k, 65k, and I think even like 75k. And then it just smashed through all of them, and then it bounced off this line here. Now, this is a scary looking fractal that I went over in my live stream. And what I've basically done is I've taken the pattern from 2021, this pattern here, where we had a top, come back down, had another top, and we come back down, it had a ranging channel, a rising channel, and then we dropped. And, we had that kind of pattern. So that pattern I've basically copied and I've just overlaid it over here, to kind of make it fit. And it's scary if this plays out again, but it has kind of played out. Like if you look at it, we had the top here, well, rather over here, then we had another top, and then we had this rising channel, and then we capitulated. But, the question is, history rhymes, it doesn't repeat. So are we like this, or are we more like this? I'm hoping we're more like this. And, we might have a bit more of a bounce. And, we don't know how long this is going to take either. I really do think by middle of the year, we're going to kind of rebound and we're going to be back on the way up. But until then, it is going to be kind of uncertain. And we're probably going to range around here. That's my best guess. And I want to show you this. This is another historical thing that Bitcoin did. And I haven't really heard many people talk about this, which is strange. And honestly, I don't really listen to many people, so that's probably why. So there probably are people talking about it, but because I don't listen to them, I haven't heard them. So if you look over here, 2012, halving was here. We had to run up, and then it crashed over here. It didn't go below the halving price. Same in the 2017 cycle. It didn't come back down below the halving price. Same in the last cycle. It didn't come back down below the halving price. Now, it has now. So these are unprecedented times. When I was tracking this, I was like, look, I really struggle to see Bitcoin coming below this green line. I think it's going to be around about here. And it did. Bitcoin does, I guess it does what you don't expect. It reminds me of the 2021 run, or the bear market rather, where Bitcoin, just like it had never come back down to the halving price. It had never come back down below the previous all-time high. Like if you look at the previous runs, we had the all-time high here, and it didn't come back down to the previous all-time high, which is here. And then we had another all-time high, and it didn't come back down to the previous all-time high, which is there. And so that's what we were all thinking at the time. The all-time high was 69k, Bitcoin had a run up to, all-time high was 19k, Bitcoin had a run up to 69k. And we were like, look, it's not going to come back down below 20k because it's never done that before. But hey, look what it did. It just wanted to mess with us, I suppose. And here, it's the same thing over here, with the halving price. Never done it before. A lot of analysts, including me, were like, look, it's unlikely that's going to happen. And that's all we're doing here. We're taking historical data and we're projecting forward. And we're like, okay, look, this is what it's done before. So there's a high likelihood that it's going to do something similar. And a pattern works until it doesn't. And it's as simple as that. When you're in trading, if you are in trading, you might have a system that, you crush it for like 6 months in a row, and then all of a sudden it stops working. And then you've got to pivot, and you've got to do something new. That's a trader's life. And so, yeah, I wanted to talk about those two things because I just felt they were important. And, where does Bitcoin go from here? Does it do something like this? I don't know, but I am feeling some kind of V reversal. We have had a significant pullback, which is good. And yeah, like where are alts? Let's have a quick look at some of my favorite alts. They're probably going to be on the floor, which is normal. This is Tau. I do keep an eye on this one because to me this is a good coin. And this is one of those alts where I would probably sell it if you're holding this one, even if it does come back down to $60. It probably will come back up to all-time highs again. A lot of the other alts like this one, nah. No. You want to stay away from that one. This has been pretty much like a stable coin, this TRX one, which is very strange. I don't understand it, but I guess it's kind of like BNB where, BNB, their Binance, I know they're having problems at the moment, or there's rumours rather. I don't want to create any FUD. It's, it's their coin. They're not going to let it die. So yeah, with gold, we kind of want gold to, start trending downwards again. Because, if there's more money in gold and silver, then there's going to be less money going into crypto. And it is a signal of the sentiment in the market. So yeah, I kind of hope these have topped out and they'll start to retrace a bit. Stocks closed on a nice green candle. Dow Jones all-time high. I think the UK did alright as well. The Russell. So these are all good signs. Now I'm probably just going to... Yeah, this is some kind of channel here. Actually, I'm going to leave that one there because it could just bounce off of here and come back down again. And so, yeah, this is... Yeah, I'm just thinking to draw another trend line here. That is some kind of rising compression, which has played out, and it could come back up here and fall back down again. But yeah, all right. I'm gonna leave it there. Bitcoin dominance. Let's have a quick look at that before I go. This is the altcoin season that never came. Right, this looks too messy. I need to tidy this up. I'm not going to do it now. So there we have it. Bitcoin making history day after day, season after season, cycle after cycle. Bitcoin will recover. I keep saying it. If crashes like these worry you, you shouldn't be investing in crypto. Really, you're probably just gambling. And I'll say that with love because really, you should focus on the more important things. You should build your money machine, your cash flow machine, and use that to pay for your life and invest. And invest for the long term because really, you should have like a 10, 15-year plan, not a 6-month plan or cycle plan even. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's update.